This deck was inspired by the interaction between Unbound Elemental and Zap. 3 mana 3/5 deal 2 damage. Sounds like a pretty strong play in any deck, but particularly in an aggressive deck. But unfortunately there's already an aggressive Shaman deck on ladder, and that's Even Shaman. That's a deck that's a little bit more board oriented. It even curves up to like 8 with Lich King and Alakir and stuff like that. So I wanted to keep the curve on my deck low, and instead of playing for the board too much, we're trying to kill people with Doomhammer. To go with our Doomhammers, we've got a couple Rockbiter weapons, 2 mana deal 6 damage OP. Also to go with our Rockbiter weapons, we've got Vicious Fledgling. Sometimes it just gives itself Wind Fury, so that your Rockbiter can be 2 mana deal 6 damage. And Vicious Fledgling is the kind of card that if your opponent can't answer it, it just wins the game on turn 3. So generally, if it makes sense to play this card, it's probably at least a decent idea, because it's such a dumb card. Now unfortunately, sometimes when you attack with your Vicious Fledgling, you're not offered Wind Fury, so I figured I would just play a copy of Windspeaker, just give my Vicious Fledgling Wind Fury anyway, or I can throw Wind Fury on an Unbound Elemental that's getting out of control, or really just any minion if I have a Rockbiter available to me. Like even a Searing Totem, it's not that great dealing the 1 extra damage, but when it's dealing 4 extra damage, giving something Wind Fury is pretty sick. Kind of a sketchy card though, so I'm only playing 1. I also thought this deck would be a good opportunity to play Earthen Might. 2 mana, give a minion +2/+2 is just pretty good, even if it doesn't land on an elemental. But we have quite a few elementals in the deck, 2 Fireflies, 2 Glacial Shards on turn 1, so we can curve straight into the Earthen Might. And even Unbound Elemental is an elemental for later in the game. Other than the Earthen Might though, there's not too many solid 2-drops we have available, so I'm just playing a couple Amani Berserkers and a couple Spell Shifters. Spell Shifter as a 1/4 is pretty good against tokeny things, but you can even play it as a 4/1 since you are an aggressive deck, and if your opponent's not like a mage with easy access to a hero power, sometimes you just get in there for 4 and it really starts to add up. But of course the Spell Shifter also has pretty good synergy with the Zap. 0 mana deal 3 damage, now that's a good card. And it does have some additional synergy with Earth Shock, Lightning Bolt, and Lava Burst, but I'm not totally sold on the Spell Shifter. Blood Mage Thalnos could also make sense, maybe even just like Direwolf Alpha could make sense. But there really aren't that many good 2-drops you can be playing in this slot. To round things out, I've got a couple copies of Life Drinker. I think it's pretty well established that this is a reasonably good aggro card, and I wanted something that could just go face when they're trying to taunt all my Doomhammers. But I didn't want to play another Lightning Bolt because Lightning Bolt's just kind of low value, and sometimes when you play Life Drinker on 4, the 3/3 body actually matters. I've actually played quite a few games with this deck already. Turns out Doomhammer makes for some very short games sometimes. And my current version is a little bit over 50%, so hopefully I can maintain that over a larger sample size.
Throw versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
For Doomhammer.
So my only question about this hand is the second Firefly. But I guess I'll just keep it. I have so many Lava Bursts and shit in my deck that I don't want to draw. It's nice to just have minions. So the question here is, do I play 2 1/2s this turn, or do I hold the coin so I can coin this guy out? Maybe even zap a, I don't know, an Archaeologist or a Raven? I think the Earthen Might next turn is just so good.
The end is coming.
I only have 6 damage that I can put into that. That's really bad. Doomsayer's strong.
Let the pain speak to me.
Go get him, Flappy Bird.
Out of my jungle. I shall see.
Alright. Freeze this guy so he can't value trade into the 2/1. get some stats on the board. Next turn, hopefully these stats plus my Doomhammer. Oh man, he's gonna feel bad. These stats plus my Doomhammer can get my Flappy Bird to the face.
Elements guide me.
Then I'll probably use the Unbound Elemental to clean up the ooze. Can't be targeted seems good. I'm more worried about AoE in this matchup though. So I think I'm just going to take the +1/+1. Can't be targeted is pretty good against his hero power. But stacking stats I think is going to be better in the long run. Hopefully I don't end up regretting that. Why did he leave this at 2 health? Can he actually deal with it? Did I put stats on it? Is that ever useful? I feel like I should just hero power and play a 1/2. That's a good healing totem. And then get the 4 face damage in, obviously. Almost forgot. Okay. So let's see. Probably just hero power, flame tongue, and this. Wow, that's interesting. Where do I want to position the 1/2? Probably here for meteor, so the flame tongue and the big guy don't die. Then I guess he just meteors this and hero powers my other guy, but then at least he has to use his hero power. Could put it over here so that if it's meteor, I'm guaranteed to have something for the Cauldron Elemental.
I wonder.
Maybe that makes a lot of sense. Because if he has meteor, he's probably just going to hero power my face or something. It shouldn't really matter too much.
Elements guide me.
So I still have 4 more damage out of this Doomhammer. I have an Earth Shock to pretty much guarantee it can go face. So I don't need to pick up too much more damage. But if he has like a Flame Strike here into Jaina next turn, I think I might just not have enough damage. Although I guess even if I don't have elementals in play, this guy's still a 7/7. Did have the meteor. Guess he wanted to kill my healing totem. Fair enough. No complaints out of me. So do I play Cauldron Elemental or other guys? Push 5 this turn, he plays Jaina, it goes up to 10. I have 5 in play, this guy puts it up to 9. So I should probably play this guy to play around Jaina. And I have another Doomhammer in the deck, so I think I'll hit with this. Even though holding on to it's better if I do have, or if I do pick up Rockbiter. But Rockbiter on its own is good enough here. Second Meteor. Okay, Polymorph is less bad than Meteor. There's a major consideration here for which one of these I hit with Earth Shock. Well, I guess I just Earth Shock the taunt and then I can just trade into this guy. That just makes more sense, right? I can always get the damage out of this thing. So I think I'd rather play my 2/4 here, because 2/4 grows if I draw a Lava Burst or something. It's also just a little bit sturdier into something like Blizzard. Play this turns inside the mana. He's down to 4, so Doomhammer's lethal, 2 Lava Bursts are lethal, and Lightning Bolt, if I can roll spell damage, is lethal. Plus I have some Rockbiter, Flame Tongue, Earthen Might lethals if my board sticks. Alright, so he's at 10 here. I have 6 in play. Rockbiter doesn't quite do it. So I can deal 6 here, He goes to 4, heals up to 8. I'm only gonna have 2 power in play next turn. So I need to find 6 damage off the top. I don't see any way that like Rockbite or trade into water elementals ever the play. Could trade into this guy. But then like this thing just gets hero powered. I think I'm just supposed to go face. Even if he full clears my board and heals for 4 here, I do have some lethal draws. Life Drinker is not a lethal draw? Oh yeah, it is, because I have 2 power in play. Oh man. That was probably the last turn I could have won the game, because he was going to clear my board and then I was going to be frozen for the rest of the game. He'd be healing for 6 or 9 every turn.
Thrall versus Lunara.
The forest fights back.
For Doomhammer.
I like Firefly into Earthen Might. Not sure if Unbound Elemental is a good enough keep. I'd like to find Flappy Bird, maybe even Amani Berserker just in case the Earthen Might doesn't land. Might even keep Doomhammer in this matchup, not sure. So I'd say this is a pretty good hand, as long as he doesn't Spellstone my guy. But honestly, even if he does, just double 1-drop next turn, Earthen Might the following turn. Do I just play 1-drops instead of Earthen Might anyway? Or maybe this guy, and then next turn is Earthen Might plus another 1-drop? But I guess over multiple turns, just playing Earthen Might this turn does more damage. Plus I can play this guy as a 4-1 next turn. Probably not actually very good, but if he doesn't have an answer, 4 damage is a lot. Let's just make him bigger. That's too much armor. You're not allowed to gain that much armor. Okay, maybe he won't have an answer to the Flappy Bird.
The light protects me.
Play this instead of the Dust Devil. Dust Devil overloads me so I can't play Doomhammer, which wouldn't be that big of a deal if my board wasn't so weak to swipe if I played it. Freaking swipe. Well, surely he won't have another swipe, right? Fuck it, we're all in on no swipe. And he's probably not a Spreading Plague deck.
Pay attention, class.
Okay, so if he's playing Violet Teacher, he probably is a Spreading Plague deck, actually. Just got kind of lucky he didn't have it.
What if...
Really? Killed a 4-1 instead of a Dust Devil? I guess it makes some sense. Well, now that I know he's a Plague deck, I guess I don't mind trading off 2 1-1s instead of a 2-2. He didn't have it because he would have played it, but he can always top deck it. You don't have second swipe. Okay.
That was wild.
So if this naturally gets Wind Fury, I'll probably play Doomhammer. If not, I'll give it Wind Fury.
Feel the power.
Stealth or Divine Shield? I feel like Divine Shield protects it from most things. Maybe I shouldn't have hero powered because of Spreading Plague. It's not like most of the totems are doing anything for me anyway.
The circle of life is open.
Alright, so we've got Doomhammer plus this guy to kill 1. can Earth Shock through the other, hit spell damage, then I can just zap plus this guy to get through it. I guess I'll just spend the zap rather than the Earth Shock, right? And then we get to Wind Fury his face with the Flappy Bird. Can't be targeted, I guess. And +3 health. And I'll take Stealth in case he's randomly playing Naturalize. I feel like he can't really kill it otherwise.
You win. I can rest now.
Flappy Bird OP.
Thrall versus Valera.
Watch your back.
For Doomhammer.
This is not a good hand. I guess I'm just gonna Hero Power Pass. Play the 2/4. I have a couple good Overload cards to support it, but sometimes it just dies to backstab SI7 Agent or something like that.
Halt! Who goes there?
Well, I don't love having to use Lightning Bolt and Zap here, but it double buffs my guys, so not too bad, I guess. And I get to put a lot of stuff on the board. Vile Spine was definitely his best answer there, and the backstab. I haven't been able to deal nearly enough damage,
Who you want me kill?
but the Glacial Shard is actually a pretty good pickup. Make sure to put it next to the Flame Tongue Totem, because he's probably going to want to dagger into it.
So many options.
If I can find a Doomhammer, I should be able to get there. But I think it's going to be pretty much a Doomhammer or bust at this point.
Who you want me kill?
So I want this 2 damage. I could kill here, and then I have a 5/2, so he can't value trade into this. Let's see, I've got 8 in hand.
Who you want me kill?
I think I want this 2 damage.
Halt! Who goes there?
Second Lava Burst. So if I can roll a spell damage totem. Gonna go ahead and get this Rock Biter hit in. If I just cast a Lava Burst here, I'm on 6 next turn. Still enough mana to roll for spell damage and play the second Lava Burst. Doesn't really allow me to play a Doomhammer. I think it's worth just casting here. I could try to be defensive and shoot the Hinge Clan Thug, but then I probably just never have enough damage. I think I just have to hope I can draw into it. Or roll the damage. Assuming he can't heal, I have 2 Doomhammers, a Rock Biter, 2 Spell Shifters. Guess that's not actually that many draws. Easy spell damage totem.